faculty to order. And we have 4 reports today. Each will be followed by a little pause. And at the very end, we will have an opportunity for people to ask questions at the end of all 4 of them. Okay. First on our agenda today is a report on the state of the university to be delivered by an individual who's led our institution to exceptionally high levels of productivity, accomplishment, and relevance. He's the 15th president of Clemson University, Dr. James P. Clements.
Well, thank you, Provost Jones. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good? Thank you all for being here. For those on Zoom as well, welcome to the start of another academic year. And let me start just by saying thank you for the important job that you do. I do want to thank Dr. Jones for the outstanding job he is doing as our Executive Vice President and Provost and Chief Academic Officer, a role that he has served so very well in for 10 years. Would you please help me thank him for solid, steady leadership? Also want to thank our faculty and staff leaders, Dr. Lauren Duffy, President of the Faculty Senate. Dr. Duffy, thank you for your leadership. Would you please help me thank her? Dr. Brian Powell, our faculty rep to the Board of Trustees. Dr. Powell, thank you for all that you do. And if he is here, always thankful for the staff, Senate, and President Jeff Anthony. And can you help me thank our staff for all that they do? All right, they're all doing a great job in their leadership roles. Not easy to step up. Thank you all for stepping up. Most importantly, I want to thank all of you, our incredible faculty, for your dedication and your hard work. I know you've been working hard to prepare for the new semester, and I appreciate the efforts, your efforts, as we welcome our students back to our campuses around the state and into our classrooms. It's been fun for me personally, getting to know our students during move-in last week, during new student convocation yesterday, and at the Welcome Back Festival last night. Our students are excited to be here, and they're excited to meet you and to learn from you. I know you've heard me say this before, but it never hurts to say it again. What you do really matters. Your work matters, and each and every one of you matters to me and to this university. You are making a difference in the lives of our students each and every day, and you are making an incredible difference here at Clemson. So we're officially 1 year into our bold new strategic plan, Clemson Elevate, and the work that you are doing is obviously key to meeting our 3 pillars. Number 1, delivering the #1 student experience in the country. Number 2, doubling research and positioning ourselves for membership in the AAU. And number 3, transforming lives across this state and beyond. I'm proud of the progress that you and we have made during year 1 of the strategic plan as we continue to elevate Clemson even higher. So this is actually the start of my 36th year full-time in higher education, my 16th as a university president, 11th year here at Clemson. And I want to share with you just a few updates and highlights of our recent successes. I believe it's a great time to be at this wonderful institution, and I'm thankful for all that you do. It's you that make Clemson special and provide our students with a world-class education. So last week, I had the chance to welcome more than 160 new faculty members. That's a large number, and I'm excited about having these amazing individuals join our Clemson family. Clemson degree continues to be in unbelievably high demand. This year, we received nearly 62,000 applications for 4,900 freshman slots. That's more than triple the number of applications we had just a decade ago. And if you think of that in terms of market demand, the demand for a Clemson degree is higher than Duke, Georgia Tech, Miami, NC State, Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, to name just a few. Students want to come here, and they want to come here from around the world. Tomorrow, approximately 4,900 first-year students and 1,600 transfers will start their classes with you. Nearly 60% of our freshmen were ranked in the top 10% of their high school. Average SAT is 1320. Average ACT is 30. These are brilliant students. They're really, really, really talented. And each and every one of them is looking to you to learn from, to be mentored by. So please remember that our students are our number one priority, and it's our job to create the number one student experience in the country and transform their lives in a positive way. Really proud of your work this past spring. 59 of our students won nationally competitive scholarships or fellowships, including 1 astronaut scholar, 5 Fulbright scholars, 6 NSF graduate research fellowships, to name a few. 10 years ago, that number, we had 8 national scholar winners. This year, last past year, 59, incredible increase. Since 2020, we had our first ever Rhodes Scholar, we had 3 Truman Scholars, and we had 17 Goldwater Scholars. And in that time frame, only 5 schools in the entire country can match that record. They are Michigan, Harvard, Yale, Columbia, and Stanford. Not a bad crowd for us to be in. That is a reflection of the amazing education that you are providing to our students. We also have some of the highest retention and graduation rates for public universities in the entire country. My view, and this is what I told the students yesterday and I told new faculty last week, if we admit a student, we have to do everything we can to help them graduate. Now they have to do the work and they have to help themselves, but we have to do everything we can to help them graduate. Our students are able to succeed at the highest level because of the guidance and teaching and mentorship that you provide, so thank you for helping them achieve their dreams. So you continue to perform at a very high level in terms of research. This year we had $287 million in research expenditures. That's basically double what it was a decade ago. I know it takes a lot of work. I know it takes a lot of time. I know it takes a lot of effort. I know that you are stretched thin. I know that there are a lot of demands on your time. We've also been successful in securing large research awards, with 121 research awards of at least $2 million or more since 2015, totaling more than $700 million in grants to this campus. Over the past several years, on average, 10, that's a very large number, 10 of our young faculty members have been recognized with early career awards. That's a testament to the incredible work our faculty are doing here in the classroom and in your fields of study. These awards, as you know, are highly competitive, and our faculty continue to perform among the best in the country. If you look at individual metrics, especially based on the number of faculty we have, we can compete and do compete with anyone in the country. And I do want to acknowledge, and I know I say this every year, research takes many, many forms. I'm only pointing out a few examples and a few metrics here. Also proud that in May we completed our 8th year of the President's Leadership Institute, with 25 outstanding faculty and staff completing the program this past year. Our new cohort started last week, and I'm looking forward to working with them over this coming year. As you know, the support we receive from private donors is critical to our success. This year, we far exceeded our goal with a total of $259 million raised this past fiscal year. About 10 years ago, that was about 75 to 85 million. This year, $259 million. That's a new record for us, and I'm grateful for all of our donors who give us generous support. So you might want to ask, how does that impact you as our incredible faculty? A significant amount of money is infused back into the academic enterprise for things such as new buildings, improved facilities, new equipment, endowed chairs and faculty positions, obviously scholarships for our students, unrestricted dollars to the general university budget. And even though I'm excited and proud of the dollars we raised this past year, it's never about the number. The number really doesn't matter. It's never, ever about the number. It's always about the impact. It's always about the impact those dollars have as we continue to elevate this university. So when you come into campus, I'm sure you have noticed lots of new buildings, lots of dirt, lots of cranes. It's actually a really good thing. We are building for the future. It's our job to leave Clemson better for the ones that follow us. So as we continue to build for the future and improve our facilities on campus, some of the construction and renovations underway renovations to Bryan Mall, high-rise residence halls. We just completed one of the towers and are moving on to renovating the second tower. I had a chance to tour that tower. It looks brand new. Like, it literally is brand new. My first thought was we have to take them down. They're too old, but we renovated them for about half the cost. They look absolutely, the new one looks spectacular. Really excited about our Advanced Materials Innovation Complex, also known as AMIC, 143,000 square foot facility, which will be home to material science, engineering, chemistry, and chemical and biomolecular engineering. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. If you've had a chance, drive by it, look at it. It's coming up out of the ground really fast. And if we're going to double research, we have to have the facilities to do it. By the way, I did talk with several of our new faculty last week who came to Clemson, and several of them pointed out that building and obviously our research strengths in that area and the opportunities that that will create. This past spring, we also broke ground on our new forestry and environmental conservation building. I'm excited about that. And we are well on our way to developing the state's first College of Veterinary Medicine, and we welcome our first students in the fall of 2026. Really thankful for the legislature for stepping up to help make that happen. There are a lot of great things that are happening here. I'm giving you just a small little snippet, but the truth is it's because of people like you and the incredible work that you do and the culture that we have. Want to point out just a couple more examples. This past fall, the Wall Street Journal ranked us as the #1 university in the state of South Carolina. We were also ranked among the top 25 best public universities in the country, which is awesome. But if you drill down on that and peel it back a little bit and look, here's who we ranked ahead of. We have leapfrogged UNC Chapel Hill, UVA, Purdue, Tufts, Syracuse, William and Mary, every school in the University of Maryland system, every school in the University of Texas system, and my alma mater, Johns Hopkins University, to name just a few. For the first time in university history, we ranked in the top 10 across all Tier 1 research institutions as a military-friendly school and a military spouse-friendly school. We were recently ranked as among the top 3 most trusted public universities in the country, and trust is earned by doing the right thing all of the time. I tell students and I tell families when we recruit them, you can trust us and you can trust our faculty and staff to provide the best education and to take care of your student when you send them to us. We're also ranked as the 2nd safest campus in the country. Again, I believe that is because of our culture. And what I do every year when we do this, I actually like to end with a letter that I have received. So I want to read to you, and I'm going to read the letter to you. I actually received it last week after summer commencement. It was a handwritten note that came into my office, so I'm going to quote it. Just going to read it to you. President Clements, my family and I attended commencement on August the 9th, where my daughter received her master's degree in special education. She also received her undergraduate degree from Clemson 3 years ago. My son will graduate next May with his degree in mechanical engineering. During the ceremony, I was able to reflect on how lucky we have been to have Clemson in our lives. We moved here in 2016 from Rochester, New York. My niece was attending Clemson, and she was loving it. As we traveled home from our visit, my husband and I realized that we had fallen in love with Clemson. They ended up moving to Clemson, and the move shocked our kids and was difficult at that time on our 16-year-old daughter. Both kids were enrolled at a local high school here, and their guidance counselor asked if they wanted to try honors and AP classes. That was surprising to us. You see, my kids were smart, but in New York, they went to a large high school and were not in the track of honors classes, but they were given the chance, and they did great. When my daughter applied to college, she still didn't know what she wanted to do and decided to go to Tri-County Tech, where she worked in the cafeteria at Clemson while in school there. She transferred to Clemson in her sophomore year and found some amazing friends and a program, and she felt right at home. Then comes 2020, COVID. And I actually didn't want to mention that, but it happened. 2020 came, COVID came. My son graduates from high school and is accepted to Clemson. He struggled his freshman year and lost his life scholarship. Sophomore year got much better. He really started to learn and started taking summer classes. He began working at the computer store and still works there today. He also has an amazing group of high school friends that all live together and go to Clemson together. Now it's just that we need to find him a girlfriend before he leaves. That's her words, not mine. I had to read it. I'm reading the letter as it is. But here's the thing. If we stayed in Rochester, I can't think of a college that either of my kids would have gotten the same incredible experience as they did at Clemson. And we were surrounded by amazing colleges in New York. There is something special about Clemson, and I cannot explain it. I will always have Clemson imprinted on my heart. Thank you for everything that you and your incredible faculty and your teams have done to make Clemson so special. All of you are the reason why that mom wrote that letter to me. It had nothing to do with me. It has to do with you. You are the ones who have the direct impact on the lives of our students. You are the ones who teach them. You are the ones who shape their lives. You are the ones who mentor them. So thank you for making a difference. As I said earlier, your job is not an easy one. It's incredibly time-consuming. I know that it is stressful, and I know that there are many, many demands on your time. But I want you to know that I'm personally very thankful for the important and wonderful job that you do. I hope that you have a safe, happy, healthy, and productive semester. Thank you again. Go Tigers.
Thank you, President Clemens. Every time I hear you talk, I feel really inspired. Appreciate your leadership at Clemson. It's very significant. All right. So next up is me, and I'm going to talk about some of last year's key strategic academic accomplishments made by our faculty, staff, and administration working together. And I want to emphasize that last part because like the president, I've been at multiple universities. I've never been at one that had this level of collaboration. We often don't see things the same way. We often do. We always dialogue, work together, and do great things. You heard the results. And it's just a pleasure for me to be with you. All right, here are some top strategic accomplishments of many that we made. These are just a few. One, a big one, last year we successfully reaffirmed our institutional accreditation as of December 2023. And that's big. And we had 0 dings. They said, Clemson looks good, all top to bottom. That's pretty rare. That speaks to the quality of this institution. We provided high-touch service excellence due to unprecedented FAFSA delays. What does that mean? You know the FAFSA, the federal rollout of FAFSA. It was a disaster. And we had families and students right on the edge of the cliff. When am I going to find out where I'm going and what's my scholarship? The decision-making for them was incredibly difficult. Our teams stayed in touch with the situation very carefully, managed our way through that. We have very happy students and families because of the quality that Clemson delivered. We launched distance learning in new ways, reaching new markets with a partnership that we have with Coursera. And we just started that. And our first classes are coming in with much higher enrollment than we had projected. This bodes well because if it works properly, there could be very, very significant extra resources that come in to help us do the things that we want to do. And that is enabled by willing and dedicated faculty. All right? We increased our summer enrollment, which is aligned with our summer strategy and our strategic plan objectives, not just by the same amount the rest of the university has increased, but we're increasing summer enrollment faster than the rest of the university. Also very important, also because of our partnership with faculty. We merged PSA back into CAFLS for better mission alignment. That was a big deal. Anybody in PSA or CAFLS knows that was a very difficult thing to manage, the expectations, working together more closely, merging leadership. It was scary. Folks were upset, but we locked arms, we listened to each other, we marched together, and we've gotten to a much better place. We completed the stand-up of 2 new colleges, the College of Arts and Humanities and the College of Architecture, Art, and Construction. That's a pretty big deal. If you don't know about that, one day I hope you get to stand up a new college and you'll understand that that's a tremendous amount of work that has to happen to make that work. And when Jim and I first got here, we did reorganization, and that was a big deal. We went from 5 colleges to 7. We learned a lot of lessons during that, how to do it better, and this time we hit the mark. It was really smooth. We put the resources in to make it happen. A lot of people worked together to make that happen. We hired new founding deans for those new colleges. That's a big deal. We had to attract talent. People want to come to Clemson, so we had great pools of outstanding candidates. We developed an inaugural curriculum for a Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree, and faculty from around the university with expertise in biological sciences came together to help that new college form a new curriculum. We invested in research clusters and research support staff, so we've grown in both of those. We established a major awards and honorifics office for faculty recognition and retention, and now it's operational. We've improved amendments to the Constitution for the faculty of Clemson University to be more inclusive. Huge, a huge deal. All of you engaged in that process. Long overdue at Clemson, but you stood up, you did it, and we spent that last year, and we'll be spending more this coming year, working to take advantage of that and to rewrite all of how we do business rules and so on and so forth to make sure we capture the benefits of having a more inclusive environment in our faculty. Coming up this next year, we have many other tasks and goals ahead of us for our faculty and administration who will be working together. We are going to do a slow, strategic undergraduate enrollment growth strategy. Slow, steady, always hiring enough faculty to keep up with the teaching needs so that we don't diminish the quality of our teaching. Continue the significant growth of our graduate programs and enrollment that our departments and colleges and graduate school have put in motion. We had 320 PhDs graduate last year. A huge increase above, first time we've ever been above 300. Actually, we've met one of our strategic goals already. Now we have to set more ambitious goals. You made that happen. Okay, continue our several impactful faculty well-being and career development activities. We put many in place. A lot of them are maturing and very, very active now, and the best is yet to come on how those are going to benefit all of us. We're going to continue modernizing academic systems and tools and processes. Many times you've heard us say those processes were kind of antiquated. They were holding us back. We have started tackling them. We're making hay, and we're making progress on all of those together. Again, that's faculty, administration, staff working closely together. Increasing the number of faculty with National Academy membership and/or other prestigious awards. We're rising. We are rising. That's important for AAU. Until we have a high enough level of awards and recognitions in our faculty, we won't be asked to be in the AAU. We're implementing more cluster hiring in targeted areas. We're going to increase the total research space and the efficiency of our existing research space. We know that's a very critical thing to work on, and we're busy doing that. Enhance our reach in the academic markets through our partnership with Coursera and through other online learning opportunities. Again, not only to increase our revenues, but to reach more of the public to help them with education. That's our goal, is to have outreach and to help people build better lives and better communities. Improve access and remove opportunity gaps to experiential learning, through experiential learning. And develop the Clemson Chair Academy, which is being launched this fall. Complete a new economic impact study, which is already underway. And in all of these efforts and more, they will be done and directed by, or in strong alignment with, our Clemson Elevate strategic plan. Now, that's what all of us are working together on. We're very excited about that. I wanted to let you know what I personally, as a single individual, have as my highest priorities. And one is to secure the Clemson Forest sustainability. It's been in my heart ever since I was a student here back in the 1970s. Proactively address employee compensation outside of annual state mandates. The time has come. We need to direct a compensation plan and not wait for the state to put a compensation plan for us. We'll do it in partnership with the state, and we welcome the state's support, but we need to tackle this on our own. And we've realized that more and more, and the time has come. There's complete alignment among our staff, faculty, and administration that the time is here. We've got to do that. And your leadership is going to be very important for that. We're going to explore new, very significant academic and research collaborations with industry partners. I'm very excited about some that look like they could be tremendous national examples of doing really cool and innovative things. We're going to explore new, very significant academic and research collaborations with other institutions in the federal government, and finalize our singular faculty evaluation process. To me, that's super important. For many years, we've had several kinds of evaluation of faculty, and our department chairs are overwhelmed and overworked. We finally have gotten to a point where one step away from making it a one-time deal, and we're going to tackle that and get that done this year. And, of course, it's very important for me to be very active in our ongoing support for our resource-based budgeting and our enterprise resource planning projects. Those are huge, massive projects to streamline how we do business and make everything more transparent and simple, reduce workloads, paperwork, so we can focus on our mission. So those are the things I'm going to personally tackle. And I appreciate that many of you share those goals, and we will be working together. All right, so now we're ready for our next report. And this one will be presented by the President of the Faculty Senate, Dr. Lauren Duffy.
Turn that down. I struggle with my voice being louder than ambient noise, so if you can't hear me, just let me know. I'm very excited to welcome you here for the start of a new academic year. And faculty senators, you will hear a couple of repeat marks, but I will try not to repeat too much and give you something new. But I've said this before to the faculty senators, and that is that the start of the year is, one of the most exciting times to be on a college campus. There's a lot of new energy, a lot of optimism, a lot of untapped potential. And we do live in a college town that the young people get to join with us, and we are on a thriving college campus. I do hope that you get a chance to take this all in. The university has had a lot of success, much of what you just heard about from the president and the provost. But I do want to recognize that many of the institutions are not starting off the semester in this same footing. If you keep up with any of the news within Higher Education Chronicle, Inside Higher Ed, you know that we're looking at program closures, campus closures in Illinois, in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, you name it. There's a lot of change in the higher education landscape. We know that the demographic shift and the decline in student enrollment is on the horizon, but here at Clemson, we are in good shape. This is part from some things that are external to us, regional factors, a public land-grant university, a growing state. But we are also in a really good position because I think we've had really stable leadership for the past 10 years, right? So I do hope that you recognize there are a lot of things that we do really well internally, thanks to the leadership that we have here. And one of the things that I get to do in this position that's really a privilege is to see some of the behind-the-scenes decisions that get made. And some of that is really hard to see, but I just want you to know that I have full confidence in our administration, and I hope that you can share that too as we move into this year. One of the reasons that I do have confidence in our leadership is because shared governance has thrived at this institution. One of the questions I received while sitting at the Faculty Senate table for orientation this past week, one of our new faculty members said, it was kind of like that side nudge, like, but tell me how things really are at Clemson. And I can say that from my perspective, things are pretty good, right? Maybe even beyond that, right? But part of that comes from the communication that we have between faculty and administrators. I know what it could look like at bigger universities. I know what that could feel like and how that might transpire and manifest. But right now, we are at a place where my reflection is really positive. The health of the university, if you measure it by something that's really important to me, that's trust, that's internal trust, that's how we feel about being here. Right now, that's pretty high because we have authentic shared governance mechanisms, and I hope this is a tradition that will continue on. This year, first time in history at the institution, we have a faculty senate that is pushing almost 100 senators. This has required a lot of change on our part. We are looking at the ways in which we are the most effective Senate that we can be with those numbers. But even more importantly, this includes our non-tenure track faculty for the first time in the history of this institution. Our non-tenure track faculty contribute very largely to our mission. And I think that this is one of the things that will help shape us into an even stronger university with their presence and their voice within Senate. The Senate is continuing to work on many items important to faculty across our 5 standing committees and 3 ad hoc committees for this year. We'll continue to advocate for faculty interest, and central to us is working on that compensation plan that the provost spoke about. We are so excited about this. We know that for us to elevate as an institution, it's not just the buildings, it is the people. And so we want and hope to see that continued investment in you all as a faculty that do so much for our students. We're also looking at things such as governance for that RBB. What does governance look like at the university level? What does it look like at the college level? There's a lot of policy structure that we're hoping to also help make recommendations for so that when we see the complete adoption of RBB, we're well positioned to have faculty input into that process. There's a lot of stuff that we're working on, and I'm not going to go through it in detail because you will all fall asleep on me. But what I will say is our faculty senators are working really hard. We have a lot of faculty who have put in time and effort to join the Faculty Senate, which we know is often no small measure, and they are giving a lot this year. And so I just hope that you have a chance to thank your senators that are coming out of your college, out of your departments, for the time that they're dedicating into this. I love teaching students. I also love learning from students. I'm in the university because I had a passion for teaching. And right before I left my office to walk over here, as one does, I was like scrolling through LinkedIn. And I saw one of our PRTM graduate students who just finished their 400-hour internship. And he had posted a couple of pictures, and one of those pictures said, "We rise by lifting others." Of course, this is like the most satisfying thing for a faculty member to ever see, is a student to come back from a real-world experience and have that kind of aspiration in their life, the difference they want to make in their community. And what I can say is a motto like that is also something that I think is really fit for Faculty Senate. We rise by lifting others, and I think that probably captures a lot of the sentiment that we have across executive and advisory committees in our entire Senate. So don't hesitate to reach out to your lead senators in your college this year with any issues or concerns that you have. We're here to elevate problems, find resources or avenues for recourse. You can contact any of the Faculty Senate officers. That includes myself, Sarah White, Jennifer Holland, the Director of our Office of Faculty Governance, William Everode. And as your colleges and academic units are starting to undertake bylaw changes, we also have Tyler Harvey, Chair of our Policy Committee, and Fran McGuire, the Faculty Manual Consultant, who are very valuable resources to helping move that forward. We are here to help you, again, continue to make those changes into your bylaws and make that as seamless as possible. So please use those resources. And with that, I'll turn it over to Brian.
Thank you, President Duffy, and thank you for your leadership and willingness to serve. That's a big job that you have, huge job. And like all of our former presidents, you're off to a great start. Thank you so much. All right, we have our final report next, being presented by the representative to the Board of Trustees, Dr. Brian Powell.
All right. Hi, I'm Brian Powell. So I'm your faculty representative to the Board of Trustees. Entering my 4th year in the role now, having just started a second 3-year term in this job. And I appreciate the support of the Senate and the committee that gave me a second term at this job very much. I've noted in each of these previous addresses that the most outstanding thing to me, going to the Board of Trustees meeting since 2021, is just how profoundly complicated running this university is. I'm so glad I don't have your jobs in so many ways for that. But they're all looking at how each of these multiple facets of the university come together and help us fulfill our land-grant mission to become this preeminent research institution and to support and improve our cities, our state, and our nation. I can assure you that the consequences and impacts of any decision that board makes, whether they be positive or negative impacts, they're broadly and extensively considered by the board prior to their final decision being made. As the faculty representative to the Board of Trustees, my role is to serve as the primary conduit between the board and the faculty, to communicate with and gather information from the faculty, and to consult with the faculty senate on board-related matters. And those of you, there's many of you in the room that you've gotten an email from me when I'm preparing one of these reports to the board saying, hey, what do you think about this? And so I do my best to gather as much information as I can from you. The other approach is to really just increase communication between our faculty and staff and students and the board members. And I do that by bringing the board members to campus one-on-one. And nothing is more informative for those board members than to sit in your office and listen to you describe your day-to-day job and how you work with your students. It's immensely informative, and the board members who have taken advantage of this have really found a lot of value in it, and I always get comments back from them about it. My goal is to get every one of them to campus for one of these visits before my term ends. I also spend a good amount of time listening to you. Thank you to those of you who have reached out and just sent a comment or a question about something. I do my best to address your concerns or questions. If I can answer it, I will, and if I can't, then I try to find somebody who can. The number of emails and text messages and phone calls I have made to these two gentlemen are pretty good evidence of that. I also go and sit on the patio at Soleil at the Green, the 4th Tuesday of every month from about 4:30 to 6. And so if you just want to come by and have an informal chat, then come on by. If for some reason I'm traveling, I can't make it, I usually call someone else and ask them if they can stop by there. So please come by there just for an informal discussion. The most common question that I get from the board member, and I see some of our former faculty reps to the board, I think they got the same question, is how are the faculty doing? And so it's a really simple question with a really, really complicated answer to it. Most of us have our dream job. We teach students, we pursue our research and scholarship and creative endeavors, both in the classroom and in our laboratories or studios or offices, wherever you do that. And that's what we want to do. President Duffy just got up here talking about, she's in this job because she loves learning from students and teaching students. And I think we all share that passion with us. And we know, though, that there's no perfect job. In addition to doing your teaching responsibilities and advising, you've been asked in recent years to serve as listeners and guidance counselors and cheerleaders just to help students manage stress and to keep them engaged in your classes. And you've done great, really, really great. The evidence of our graduation rates, our retention rates are a testament to that. We frequently use the phrase Clemson family to describe our enterprise, and it rings true in many, many ways. We do our best to stick together and to get through tough times. In previous addresses, I've mentioned a quote that my mother hung on the wall of our house that said, "So this isn't exactly home sweet home, adjust." Meaning that we find ways to make it through and get the work done. We lean on each other when needed, and we expect our institution to deliver what is needed to get the job done. As you've heard from the initiatives through the Clemson Elevate program, those resources are coming or already here. This is at a time when the public and political support for higher education has been waning due to increased costs and numerous external pressures due to the increased politicization of the concepts of academic freedom. I know many of us are tired, but remain dedicated to delivering a high-quality education and performing research on a level consistent with our R1 status. And now it is more important than ever to deliver on our promise and the mandate of the will of Thomas Green Clemson to support the education, stability, and economic growth of our state and nation. To achieve this, we will have the continued support of the Board of Trustees and the administration. Thankfully, we have so many good things going on already to realize this mandate. We have an ambitious plan with Clemson Elevate. We are receiving record numbers of student applications as some of the best students in the country, as demonstrated from the 59 awards that they received, national awards they received. We're increasing research and scholarly output towards our goal of $300 million a year of expenditures. We were at $287 million last year. We're hiring additional faculty to support all of this effort with 976 current tenure track faculty and a goal of reaching 1,150. We're transforming lives across the state with rural health and public service outreach efforts. And these are all possible because we have some of the best students, staff, and faculty in the world. We have an engaged and active Board of Trustees who carefully consider the university's direction, and we have a very engaged and active president who's been here now 11 years. The average tenure for a college president right now in the United States is 5.9 years. So you're pushing near twice that. We're happy to have you. We hope you stay many, many more years with this. So for each of the board meetings, I provide a report on something going on. There's no specific topic required, so I typically report on really whatever's happening with the faculty in general, or if I get a message from someone, report on that. And some of that is just to inform the board in more detail about what our internal policies are, some of the real specifics of how we do our tenure evaluations or annual reviews. So this year, I actually did provide a detailed discussion of the annual review and the tenure process, provided an evaluation of the Clemson Elevate plan with input from about 20 faculty members, did a review of our hiring approach, how we do a faculty search and how we vet the candidates for that there. And then most recently, a discussion of our annual review and merit-informed compensation program. In the report of the tenure review process, I highlighted the need for tenure mostly related to the concepts of academic freedom and aiding our students in developing critical thinking and critical inquiry skills. The report emphasized the rigor of our process and the fact that we do not take awarding the tenure and promotion process lightly. As stated in our faculty manual, tenure is intended to enhance freedom in teaching, research, and other professional activities, and to provide the economic security required to sustain these freedoms. The report demonstrated that ours is a remarkably rigorous process with multiple steps of evaluation and assessment of the candidates, including reviews by the candidates' department, tenure and promotion review committee, department chair, college dean, the provost, and the president. For those of you who have gone through that process, you know how rigorous it is. Yeah. So I'll close by highlighting the report I sent regarding our annual review and merit-informed compensation program. Based on a compilation of IPEDS data by the Chronicle of Higher Education, Clemson and faculty on average are making the inflation-corrected equivalent of 88% of their 2013 salary. I've received numerous comments from you regarding previous and current COLA and merit-based compensation plans. I hear you, and I've shared those comments directly with Provost Jones and President Clements, and they have listened as well. The provost recently reported to the faculty senate, and actually reported to you all about 5 minutes ago, that he is in the middle of a comprehensive strategic compensation plan that will be proactive and not reactive to the state mandates. And I can't tell you how much that will be welcomed there. I'm confident that plan will be fair, detailed, and thoughtful, and expected to be fully supported by the faculty. So thank you for that effort. I wish you well in the coming semester. Remember, few jobs in the world have the ability and potential to alter the course of history and to make the world a better place, but ours does in this. Every day we change lives, and it is with extreme gratitude and pleasure that I'm a member of our community of scholars. So enjoy the coming semester and coming year. Thank you.
Much appreciated, Brian. I can tell you, you provide value to the faculty and to our board. So we appreciate that very, very much. I think we now have a few moments where we can take some questions before we wrap up. The president is on his way to an ACC meeting. I think we need to let him go. That's an important one. So Amy Lawton-Rao is going to moderate for us, and we'll take questions and do our very best to answer them.
Yes, all right, are there any questions? I'm just going to help point people out.
So thank you for the information you gave us on like your goals for next year, but you mentioned increasing efficiency of current research space. Can you expand upon that concept?
Yes. So if you analyze the research space that we have and the productivity of faculty, and you look at other institutions where research space is tight, which is virtually everyone, particularly med schools, you'll see that they often have, you've got to have a certain level of productivity to have a certain amount of lab space. And we, in some parts of our university, still just say, here, this is your lab, and there's no sort of checking on that. And it disadvantages people who have very, very productive programs and maybe need more space. And it means that when we're hiring new faculty, they may not have any space, and we can't hire them because there's no space. We're really getting tight like that. So we want to just be a little more efficient and applying sort of rules of thumb, research space that is required to do a certain level of research and not luxurious. And that way we can squeeze a few more faculty in. It's not a pleasant thing to do, but it's doable, while we frantically and rapidly work on other solutions, short-term solutions like finding additional space, seeing if we can transfer some of our teaching spaces through efficiencies in teaching and scheduling into research space, new buildings, and all of it. So we have to do all of those together if we want to continue our track and trend. And this is in the funded research arena. Another thing an English professor would love me to say is we ought to just hire a whole bunch of English faculty because they don't need research space other than a computer and some library and wherever there's their constituents, and usually their research space is outside of the institution some way or another. But, you know, that's a strategy too. Computational faculty, humanities faculty. Our trend, and we have to be broad and comprehensive in our research for our own mission, because we all believe in that, and because it's also what's needed for AAU. So that's a very, very long answer, but it's a very good question. And we do have some examples where we're tightening up. The BRC is one example. We were a little over generous on what's typically allocated to bench scientists in that building. And we found that we could tighten a little bit, and people can still have all the research facilities they need to be productive. And so that's a temporary, small gain that we can have.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for answering our questions. I just had a quick question about the compensation plan. What is the expected timeline for completing and executing the plan?
Yes. The timeline for the compensation plan, we realized that not only are we waiting for the state to finalize what they would like to allocate and authorize for raises, it comes so late in the year, we're rushing around trying to, what's the fairest thing to do? Should we do all COLA and merit informed? And that's a terrible place to be. So we can't wait until next spring when they're getting ready to announce what they may or may not do. We decided it's critically important to start immediately, and the very first meeting's already been scheduled. And we're going to have some of the executive vice president's offices are going to meet, and then we're going to, with HR, and so there'll be a few people from the provost's office, a few people from Tony Wagner's office. And we're going to start outlining, all right, what's our process to go forward, starting now. And we're going to be engaging faculty, staff, multiple leaders in multiple parts of our university in providing feedback, helping us craft the appropriate plan. And we think that by the time we come to next spring and we're looking at next year's budget, we're already putting numbers into that next year's budget that can be invested as part of operationalizing that plan. We want it to be operational by the next time there's a opportunity for raises. Now, the caveat here is, between now and then, the economy could crash. The state will be retracting funds. So it's always going to be contingent upon our available resources. But what we want to do is put a plan together, and it's going to be based on sound principles and a goal. And then we will do our very best to march on that plan, and just have to go with, when we get more resources and we have opportunity to do more than we planned, we do it faster. And when we get a little bit of challenge, we may have to slow it up a little bit, but by golly, we're going to have a plan.
Any other questions? I'm back here. Any other questions? There are folks online, so we'll just make sure.
You mentioned an economic impact evaluation.
Yeah.
Would you mind just providing a
Yes.
little bit more detail on that?
Yes. President Clemens has been asking for an economic impact study. It's very important for us to show our impact on our state. That's our land-grant mission. And we had a history of having an internal person do that, which is problematic for two reasons. One, it's the cat in the hen house. And secondly, it's not taking advantage of some of the modern innovations in this field from people with a great national level experience. The internal people were sharp and did a great job, but we realized we needed to go to another place. So we did an RFP and got a number of firms to submit a proposal, and we selected one. It's the one that just did the economic impact studies and published for MUSC and USC. They were the winners. And if you see the numbers that came out for MUSC and USC, they weren't what we used to be reporting, oh, we have a $1 billion or $2 billion impact. It's closer to 10 billion and more. We think our numbers will actually come out more like that, closer to 10 than to 1 or 2. And so we got a great team, high level of reputation, numbers that can be backed by data and analyses. And we think it'll be probably within this next year, it'll be, I can't remember, it was 6 months or a year, somewhere in that range, we're going to be completed. And we're starting to engage a number of people on campus who have expertise in different places where we touch the economy of the state in many different dimensions, including our alumni. So this is going to be a very interesting process, and I think it's going to show that Clemson University indeed has a very, very major impact economically on the state of South Carolina.
Any other questions?
Let me end by saying, before I close, I feel like I'm in a rock concert here. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You welcomed me here over 10 years ago. And I met many groups when I interviewed. And you poured your heart out to me then, and you've had that support for me for all this past 10 years. Been truly wonderful, even when we sit across the table disagreeing on things and working through frustrations. You've been respectful and helpful, but most of all, you've been an inspiration to me because you work so hard. People talk about what makes Clemson Clemson. It's really you. It's really you. You make Clemson Clemson. So thank you very much for that. I'm proud to be your partner. Now, I hereby, hearing no or seeing no additional business, close this meeting and will make an announcement that we are going to regather in what is officially known as the Daniel Hall Expansion Building, which is in between the renovated Daniel Hall and the libraries, but you might see little signs that are temporary that's calling it Humanities Hall, which we need to do so that the students know how to get to their classrooms. But those will evaporate, we won't have those again. If any of you are sitting on about $15 million and would like to put your name on that building, please see me afterwards and we'll change that name again. But anyway, thank you. We're closed and I look forward to sharing lunch with you.